California is home to the largest number of public school students in the nation, 6.2 million young people. Trouble is, the Golden State is facing a challenge in finding enough teachers to meet that instructional demand. I'm Jim Finnerty. We'll look at the issue and examine some possible solutions.
Language skills, math, and a comfort level with technology are some of the factors in a good education. But there's another element in many public schools today. I'm Sarah Gardner. Just ahead, we'll tell you why the creative arts can make a significant difference in helping a student succeed.
The idea of a one-room or Little Red Schoolhouse may seem like a throwback to California's Gold Rush days, but not so fast. I'm Christina Salerno. Some very small schoolhouses are still a reality in some California communities. We'll take you to one of them. It's all coming up on Inside California Education.
Funding for Inside California Education is made possible by, since 1985, the California Lottery has raised more than $30 billion for our public schools. It's a modest amount after dividing it up to California's 1,100 public school districts from kindergarten through high school, as well as community colleges, UC and CSU campuses. Still, these funds help attract quality teachers, provide classroom equipment, and keep art and music programs alive. With caring teachers, committed administrators, and active parents, every public school student can realize their dreams. The California Lottery. Imagine the possibilities. The Stewart Foundation, improving life outcomes for young people through education. Additional funding for Inside California Education is made possible by these organizations supporting public education.
Thanks for joining us on Inside California Education. Everyone agrees that competent teachers are a critical element in the quality of public education in California. Teachers who not only provide effective classroom instruction, but who also inspire their students to succeed in their educational goals. Teaching California's 6.2 million public school students is the job of some 300,000 teachers. But while more than 250,000 teachers would seem to be a tremendous number, the Golden State is actually facing a shortage of teachers. A unique set of circumstances created the current situation. Solving that shortage has prompted new approaches to getting educators into the classroom.
For 5 minutes a day without talking to our neighbor.
Ashley Duncan is a first-year teacher at San Francisco's Bessie Carmichael Elementary School.
Are you reading the puppies? Which one? What's this one about?
Ashley comes to teaching from a family that stressed education as a means to improve yourself and your community.
I feel that teaching and education is a great way to change the community as a whole. And if you give people the skills and self-confidence to transform their lives, you'll see that effect in the community. If we can do this by the end of the week, get to 30, Miss Duncan will take you to the park.
Ashley had no trouble in securing a job when she emerged from college. That's because Ashley comes to education at a time when California's public schools are finding it difficult to fill teaching positions, a teacher shortage problem resulting from a number of factors. Nationwide, many teachers were laid off during the recession as school districts cut their budgets. Entering college students who were thinking about becoming teachers saw the handwriting on the wall and focused on other careers. One report says California lost 82,000 jobs in schools from 2008 to 2012. In that same period, the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing says those entering teacher preparation programs dropped by more than 55%. And California was not alone in seeking teachers from the limited pool of available talent.
We are really competing with other states. The shortages are national and especially severe in the West. Nevada, Clark County, which is the fastest growing county in the country, that's where Las Vegas is at every job fair in California, saying, come to Nevada. We have, higher salaries and lower housing costs. So we are definitely competing with a lot of other states.
Stanford University's Dr. Linda Darling Hammond is one of the authors of a statewide report on California's teacher shortage.
Well, we're at the beginning of what's about to become an even more acute teacher shortage, but in the last year it became very severe in a number of districts and in some specific teaching fields: math, science, special education, English language development teachers.
There are two words, and when you put them together, they make one word.
Brittany Yavrom is a teacher at the Encina Preparatory High School in Northern California's San Juan Unified School District. Brittany is one of those who bridged the gap between past layoffs and today's demand for teachers in the classroom.
Well, when I first came into teaching, 3 years ago, there were very few positions. But throughout my entire schooling, we were told, the baby boomers are going to retire. They're going to go. There's going to be so many jobs available. You're going to get to work wherever you want. And that didn't happen at first. And so we were just scrambling and trying to take any job we could.
So you got that two binary.
While the reality of teachers retiring does open positions for new classroom instructors, experienced teachers leaving the profession are another factor in the shortage we're seeing today. Julie Garrett is looking ahead to retirement after more than a quarter century in the classroom.
There is that stress of, well, are we going to have enough? If we do truly have as many teachers retire who say they're going to retire, what are we going to do? Are we going to have enough people to fill those positions? And I think we're losing a lot of experience that new teachers bring in their own positive points, but experienced teachers have so much to give as well.
We also have seen that with a booming economy in San Francisco, people have options to go and make significantly more money in the industry. So we've seen a 10% increase in teachers that have left and resigned and gone into other careers.
And some districts, like San Francisco, face an additional challenge with the high cost of housing. That hits especially hard for new teachers coming in at lower levels in the pay scale.
When I first was moving into the city, it was really hard to find housing. It was nearly impossible. I was thinking I was going to have to commute. I was not excited about that possibility, but a friend from college knew a friend from work who was having an opening in her apartment, and I got that apartment. It was great, wonderful. Then the rent went up.
If teachers can't afford to live in the city that they want to live in, then they're going to move somewhere else.
Especially with one of my classes, I know when or what questions that some of my students are going to ask.
Efforts are underway to increase teaching numbers. Dr. Pia Wong leads this education discussion course at California State University. Education classes on the CSU campuses turn out the lion's share of new teachers in California. Here on the Sacramento campus, enrollment levels are improving.
We have been engaged in many innovative activities. The system has provided a lot of support for the teacher preparation program faculty to become familiar with and start to infuse their coursework with the Common Core standards and the next generation science standards, so that when our candidates leave, they can hit the ground running.
Many districts have begun year-round outreach efforts online, along with seasonal job fairs to tap into the pool of those who might be available to teach. Everyone agrees that incentive bonuses, housing assistance, and mentor programs will help to not only attract but retain new hires. They agree, however, that it will take political will to address a problem that looks to be with us for some time to come.
We do need our politicians as well as our public to think about the fact that this is the profession on which all other professions depend. And if we don't get this right, we're really putting our society at risk in a lot of ways that none of us wants to do.
Teacher training schools in the United States date back to the 1820s, when one of the first normal schools was opened in Concord, Vermont. They were called normal schools because their purpose was to establish teaching standards or norms. Many of America's best-known universities began as normal schools. Incidentally, Normal, Illinois took its name in 1865 from the Illinois State Normal University, a teacher training institution.
Most of us would agree that students should leave school with skills that allow them to problem solve and communicate effectively to further their career or make the transition to higher education. There's a new movement taking place in public schools to utilize creative arts as one of the tools to further those aims. Let's take a look at one Southern California school district where the arts are helping students to explore choices they may have missed in the past.
Ready?
Following decades of simply reading, writing, and arithmetic, music is once again filling classrooms at Wolf Canyon Elementary in the Chula Vista Elementary School District.
We've got approximately, some region of 250 students signed up at the moment that are learning to play violin, viola, cello, bass, flute, clarinet, brass instruments.
Solo, children, listen, what instrument is playing?
The addition of musical moments began in Emmanuel Soto's classroom back in 2010. That's when the San Diego Youth Symphony started its Opus project in Chula Vista after noticing an absence of artistic activities in the school district.
One of the great things about the program is that it was an after-school program that used music as a tool for social transformation. Chula Vista Elementary School District did not offer music at the time, so the Opus project filled in a gap that a lot of families were looking for.
After the change, teachers noticed something remarkable. Youngsters involved in the music program were becoming better students overall.
It helps with their math. There's a lot of math involved in music. When I talk about, for example, the positioning of the bow, I talk to them about, I use mathematical terms, I tell them it's parallel, it's perpendicular. Problem-solving skills, we're developing all those things when we're involved in them in creative arts in schools.
The Youth Symphony Project is only one approach Chula Vista took to give students greater access to the arts. Another came from the California Alliance for Arts Education. They helped coordinate support under California's new state guidelines for funding.
We know that students show up when the arts are being delivered on a given day, but other ways in which you can document that is sort of across the curriculum in terms of engagement. To what extent are students really participating in their education and feeling ownership of what they're learning?
Just a little squeeze is all you need.
The Chula Vista District serves nearly 30,000 students. At the beginning of the Opus project, the district had only 6 arts instructors. Chula Vista took advantage of California's new school funding law. The local control funding formula gave districts across the state greater discretion in how they spend their allocated tax dollars.
Can somebody raise their hand and tell me one of the art elements we're using?
With additional funding and outside sources, Chula Vista committed $15 million to an ambitious arts program that included hiring 65 additional teachers.
Here we go. Ready?
Theater arts teacher Dahlia Beltran says the new focus on arts has reduced tardiness, and it helps students in other ways too.
The majority of us are English learners, and theater helps, especially with readers' theater. It helps with fluency, it helps with literacy skills, and it greatly helps them. It's a great support to the teachers as well.
And as you're covering up the pencil lines, you notice that your flower's probably going to get a little bigger, and I think that's okay too.
In 5th grade science, where they're learning about botany, and then they're bringing that into the art class, and they're actually doing a still life piece with a plant. So they're bringing what they know about science and marrying that with art.
Equally important, the changes have delivered improved social skills.
Maybe they're low in confidence and low academically, but there's something there musically. And when you see that come through and it starts to change their confidence levels, they kind of go, I can do this. This is something I can be successful at.
The goal is not to make the musicians of tomorrow. The goal is actually to make well-rounded citizens and making sure that through the study of music, they do learn sensibility, they learn teamwork, and they learn responsibility.
If you have a child who has gone through the elementary school system
with the arts, going through high school with the arts, and they're in theater, they know how to collaborate, they know how to find a solution for a difficult situation, they become a better team player.
We are sharks, we are sharks, we are sliding, we are sliding.
After reintroducing arts education, the district also saw improved interactions between parents and their children's schools, especially when the kids were featured in a performance.
Sometimes parents that wouldn't have come on campus otherwise will come on campus, meet teachers, administrators get to meet parents that sometimes would have not been on campus otherwise. So the arts is a great way to get families to come onto campus and to engage the community.
What's your title for your turtle?
Today, the district also draws upon Title I funding to support artistic endeavors. The Title I program provides federal dollars to improve the academic achievement of disadvantaged students.
We're going to be killer whales, and that means we are going to pretend that we are very big fish in the water.
One of the things as we move forward in our arts program is really helping students see those connections between what they're doing in their art and music classes and all of their classes and possible careers. So what we're really doing here is preparing students for life and for college and for career.
In order to teach the whole child, you need to give them a well-rounded education. You need to provide them with the opportunities to explore in science through art and dance through math, and really give them those opportunities to be innovative and creative and to communicate their learning with their partners.
While several states provided arts education in high school as far back as 1870, a university degree was harder to come by. Yale University was one of the earliest to offer a degree in fine arts, followed by Syracuse University in 1873.
Still ahead on Inside California Education, we'll show you how education on a very small scale is working for one community in the Sierra Nevada. But first, we'll show you a day in the life of a custodian.
I'm the first one here at the school, and rain or shine, I'm here. I come here to make the campus safe for everybody who come in here. That's my job, and I take pride in doing that. My name is Vince Crittenden. I work for Yuba City Unified School District. I've been here almost 30 years. I'm a head custodian at Riverbend Elementary School. The gutter this morning was a surprise, and kind of like it's when it's wet and raining out there, so who wants to be on top of a ladder during that time? So I have to catch all the emergency as they happen. I start off by opening up restrooms, putting out tether balls, putting down seats and chairs, setting out cones. Go around, make preparation to check to make sure this campus is safe for the kids before they get here. Ellen, hi. When I walk around the schoolyard, I either kicking the ball or just picking up a football and tossing the football to one of the kids. The students really love my interaction with them, and they always call me to come out and play with them.
It wasn't catch it.
I played basketball in high school, I wrestled in high school, and I played football in high school. So after I finish a 8-hour day of work, I also am a coach here at Riverbend. I coach flag football, I coach basketball, girls and boys. I coach wrestling. Ask me how I do it, I can't really tell you. I have the energy to do it at the end of the whole day, but it's just working with the kids gives me the energy to achieve my goal as a coach here at Riverbend. Being a classified employee is nothing to look down on. It's a positive thing. It's not only you just clean, we interact with the kids.
Hey, what's up, girl?
We are kind of like role model to kids because they look up to the custodian. They're the first person you see when you walk into the door and probably the last person they see when they go home.
All right, see you guys later. I'll talk to you later.
We really touch kids' lives. It feels very rewarding at the end of the day.
What people like to call the Little Red Schoolhouse was once a reality for education all across the country. As towns and villages got bigger, they largely disappeared. But there are still a number of small and one-room schoolhouses left in California. Let's take you to Kybers, just south of Lake Tahoe, where elementary education takes place in a building much smaller than the school that you probably attended. Welcome to Silver Fork School in Kybers, California, an unincorporated community with a population of less than 200 people. It might not surprise you then that Silver Fork, a kindergarten through 8th grade school, has only 9 students who do all of their learning in one cozy schoolhouse.
So what I would like you guys to do is to form a square.
It's really a one building schoolhouse with 2 rooms inside that building. It has 2 teachers and they split the duties. One teaches language arts.
Why would that be a proper noun?
Capitalized.
It has a capitalized R.
And the other teaches math and science.
We're going to find out how heavy water is today, all right?
The 9 students, ranging between 1st and 7th grades, learn together. The classes are split by subject matter rather than grade level.
You know, I have 9 grade levels to plan for, but then I don't have 30 papers at every grade level to correct. So it's easier in some ways and it's harder in some ways.
I do not know how many kids were in my last school, but there was like almost 1 million.
When it comes to being a student at Silver Fork, Madison Morgan, the only 5th grader at her school, says there's not the focus on grade level as much as progress. So each of the students receives the level of instruction they need instead of what their grade level might dictate.
Much better. It's kind of all mixed together, so you don't really know if you're in a grade or not anymore. But it's actually really good, though. I get more attention, you get better grades at it, you get lots of better stuff, so yeah.
While this school may not sound so ordinary, teachers and students say in many ways it is. A typical day here isn't much different than what you might see on a larger campus.
We come to school and then we'll have language arts and then we'll go to break and then we'll come in and do math and then science and then we'll do history.
As for what they're learning, that's familiar as well.
Look at your choices in your book. Does one of them look like that?
Upper grades are taught a math series that's aligned with the Common Core curriculum. And when it comes to technology,
we're in good shape. We have a very modern classroom. We have, lots of computers and we have the smart board.
So, you're already here, little pig.
Principal Pat Atkins says these kids take all the same tests and perform just as well as those in larger schools.
In a large school, it's difficult for teachers to give that one-on-one when you have 30 kids in a class.
As for the students, they agree, saying they spend less time waiting to ask questions and more time learning.
I get help every day, mostly, like all the time.
The teacher, you don't have to wait for the teacher to go by the whole classroom before everybody's done with their work.
The smaller class size also allows each student to spend time on the computer every day. They learn programming, foreign language, even robotics. And what they lack in student population, you might say they make up for in pets, another tool that's used for teaching.
It started with the bearded dragon is the animal that's been here the longest, and then Arnie, the dog, who comes to school. And then we have goats, we have rabbits, we have a turtle, a tortoise, and fish.
Sharon McGay says these animals provide the additional benefits of teaching kids how to care for others and how to share responsibilities, not unlike the entire staff at Silver Fork. Aside from 2 teachers, the principal here is also the superintendent.
Top of the key.
There's also an aide who doubles as the bus driver and the food service worker. In some ways, they're more like a large family than a small school.
The kids are like our kids, and when they graduate 8th grade and go off to high school, it's pretty sad.
I like the...
While both of the Silver Fork teachers came from much larger schools, they each will tell you this is exactly where they want to be. They also say there's just something special about this little schoolhouse in the woods. What it lacks in size, it makes up for in many other ways.
It just offers opportunities way beyond the normal classroom, to set examples for the kids and to help them, with the things that they need help with, because you really do, you become a family.
And I think I expected that, but wasn't really prepared for how much of a family type atmosphere it is.
That's going to do it for this edition of Inside California Education. But just a couple of notes before we go. Let's tell you how to get more information about the program and touch bases with us online.
You can find all of our stories and more details about the show on our website, InsideCalEd.org, or connect with us on social media as well. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on Inside California Education.
Funding for Inside California Education is made possible by, since 1985, the California Lottery has raised more than $30 billion for our public schools. It's a modest amount after dividing it up to California's 1,100 public school districts from kindergarten through high school, as well as community colleges, UC and CSU campuses. Still, these funds help attract quality teachers, provide classroom equipment, and keep art and music programs alive. With caring teachers, committed administrators, and active parents, every public school student can realize their dreams. The California Lottery. Imagine the possibilities. The Stewart Foundation, improving life outcomes for young people through education. Additional funding for Inside California Education is made possible by these organizations supporting public education.